Hello everyone and welcome to Electric City Wiffle. I am your host Mitch Hipshooter in the studio as always to bring you the highlights from Slate 6, which includes Dynasty in a must-sweep situation against the Untouchables, as well as the Savages taking on Armbarn. But first, we ask that you please like this video and subscribe to our channel, where we upload new content every Thursday. And to follow us on social media, please check out the links in the description box below. Let's get right into it with our first matchup between Dynasty and the Untouchables. This matchup features the two teams at the bottom of the standings, and as I mentioned in the opener, Dynasty coming in at 2-9 means they absolutely have to sweep here today to keep their playoff hopes alive, while the 0-11 Untouchables are simply trying to play the role of spoiler to everyone. Game 1 started with Hollywood Nick Ospelmeyer taking the mound for the Untouchables, and Matt Buttram taking Nick Yard for Dynasty. The solo shot would set the tone for Dynasty, but Nick would settle in nicely, not allowing another run through the first two innings. Meanwhile, for Dynasty, they sent their ace Chris Hess to the mound, and despite giving up his triple to Dakota Jackson, Hess would manage to record zeros in the first two innings. In the third inning, both pitchers would get touched. First with Nick giving up his second home run of the game to Matty B, this time a 3-run shot. Then in the bottom half, Hess gave up this solo shot to the red-hot Dakota Jackson.
Get out, ball! That boy, Dakota! Come on!
Those hits made the game 4-1 going into the fourth, where Dynasty's Justin Mera hit this solo shot for his first home run of the season and some insurance for Dynasty. In the bottom of the fourth, if the Untouchables had any plans of heroics, Chris Hess quickly put those to bed with a 9-pitch, 3-strikeout, immaculate inning to close out Game 1. Game 2 would feature two new pitchers. For Dynasty, it was Matt Buttram, who quickly fell victim to the Untouchables' Dakota Jackson, as he hit his second triple of the series. Matt would do well to work around that smash, though, to get 3 outs, including getting Dakota to ground out to end the inning. Dakota Jackson himself would take the mound for the Untouchables in Game 2 and was able to match zeros in the first inning. In the top of the second, despite allowing a pair of singles to Nick Ospelmeyer, which loaded the bases, Matty B was able to get Dakota once again to ground out to end the inning and keep the Untouchables off the board. In the bottom half of the second, unfortunately for the Untouchables, they would pitch their worst inning of the series, as Dakota Jackson would walk 5 batters and give up 4 singles for a mercy 6-run inning. The 6-0 lead was all Dynasty needed, as Matt got 3 quick outs in the third. Then Justin Mera added this 2-run homer to make it an 8-0 game.
He did it again! Attaboy, Ralph! Go, Ralph! You run that!
Before Matt closed out the 4th with ease to secure the Game 2 victory for Dynasty. Game 3 would be the best game of the series, with the goal of a sweep now 1 game away for Dynasty, and Nick Ospelmeyer and the Untouchables determined to mess up those plans. The action started in the top of the first, when Josh Howland turned a much-needed double play for the Untouchables, followed by a bases-loaded walk to Patty Bailey to score a run, followed by a huge strikeout of Matt Butchum for the 3rd out. Speaking of Matt Butchum, Dynasty decided to send him out to the mound in Game 3, fresh off the shutout in Game 2. And he picked up right where he left off. After a scoreless bottom of the first, followed by Nick Ospelmeyer throwing a scoreless top of the second, it was the Untouchables' turn to get on the board in the bottom of the second. And who else would it be other than the red-hot Dakota Jackson?
Get out, ball! Get out! Attaboy! Come on, let's go!
The solo shot for DJ tied the game at 1, but the Untouchables would be done scoring for the inning. Dynasty, however, was not done scoring. With the game tied in the top of the 3rd, and despite Nick retiring the first 2 batters, Dynasty would put together a crucial 2-out rally. After Omar walked, Justin Mera stepped in and hit his 3rd home run of the series.
Attaboy, get out! Yeah, bro! Attaboy!
The 2-run homer gave Dynasty a 3-1 lead, and they weren't quite done yet. After a walk to Chris Hess, Patty Bailey hit this triple to drive in a run and give Dynasty a 4-1 lead. Nick was able to get out number 3 to keep it a 3-run lead. But Dynasty's Matt Butchum remained hot on the mound and retired the Untouchables in order in the bottom half of the inning. Once again, to Nick's credit, he pitched a great 4th inning to keep the Untouchables within 3 runs, heading in to their last at-bat.
I got it. Howland all over.
Now, with only a half inning left to find out which of these 2 teams met their goal, it started with a strikeout of Josh Howland for out number 1, followed by Nick Ospelmeyer refusing to be out number 2. The solo homer made it a 4-2 game, and perhaps it would jumpstart an epic rally, which seemed to hold true when the next batter, Dakota Jackson, hit a triple off the wall to bring the tying run to the plate. Unfortunately, just as quick as the rally started, it ended, and so did the game.
Fuck and swing. Fuck!
The double play to end the game is a hard pill for the Untouchables to swallow, as they drop to 0-14. Meanwhile, the escape for Dynasty gives them a series sweep that they were so desperately seeking, as they improve to 5-9 and still cling to some hope of a playoff push. Arm Barn versus the Savages is a matchup of two teams going in opposite directions, with Arm Barn ascending to a top 3 seed over the last couple slates, while the Savages have lost 5 in a row after a 6-0 start. The entire series can be summed up by saying there was great pitching with some big home runs sprinkled in. And the first big home run would come off the bat of Tom Gannon, who was making his season debut and sent the second pitch he saw over the fence and left.
That one's on its way, and it's gone.
Welcome back, Ron.
The 2-run blast would be huge in a pitcher's duel. And after Jimmy Cole pitched a scoreless top of the second, BK of the Savages returned the favor in the bottom half.
Good pitch.
With the lead for Arm Barn still holding at 2-0, it was the Savages' turn to get on the board, when BK did it himself with that solo shot to left. And after the next batter walked, Vinny Struffalino singled to right to put 2 runners on with 1 out, and it looked like the Savages may have a big inning. But Jimmy Cole struck out David Bovia for the 3rd time in the game, and then struck out BK to end the threat. In the top of the 4th, BK had to work around this Jimmy Cole 1-out double, and then an Anthony Gaddani single. Before getting Tom Gannon to pop out, and then Stoney to ground out to keep it a 2-1 game with the Savages' final at-bat ahead. The Savages started the bottom of the 4th by working back-to-back walks to put 2 on with no out. Before Jimmy struck out David Bovia for a 4th time, then got BK to ground out for out number 2. Then walked George Stegman to load the bases. And then struck out Vinny Struffalino to end the game and give Arm Barn a nail-biting 2-1 win in Game 1. In Game 2, the Savages tried to do something they usually don't do: start someone other than BK. The experiment didn't last long, as George Stegman loaded the bases with 2 outs, and they decided to go back to BK to bail them out. But an immediate single by Anthony Gaddani brought in a run, before Tom Gannon grounded to first to end the situation. On the other side, Jimmy Cole was business as usual, tossing 2 scoreless innings to start the game. For BK, his second inning wouldn't be as easy, with another one of those big home runs incoming, this time off the stick of Anthony Gaddani, who continues to terrorize the league's pitchers as the Arm Barn lead increased to 3. In the top of the 3rd, Arm Barn's offense once again started to make noise after a Jimmy Cole single and a walk by Gaddani put 2 runners on with no out. But this huge double play by BK turned the tide. And a strikeout of Stoney officially got the Savages out of the jam. In the bottom of the third, it was the Savages' turn to make some noise offensively, and it would come from a seemingly unlikely source, as David Bovia, to this point in the series, was 0 for 5 with 5 Ks. But this ain't no K.
Let's go. Nice, baby.
The solo shot gave the Savages some momentum, but they were still down 3-1. And after George Stegman struck out for the first out, Jimmy would walk the next 3 batters to load the bases, before turning a huge double play of his own.
Oh, no.
The DP ended the inning and the threat. And after BK pitched a scoreless top of the fourth for the Savages, it would be up to Jimmy Cole to close things out for Armbarn. Jimmy started by getting BK to ground to Stoney, then struck out Struffolino looking, and then returned to form against David Bovia to close out Game 2. In Game 3, the Savages stuck to the script and sent BK to the mound again, while Armbarn decided to turn to the lefty, Tom Gannon. And both he and BK would come out hot, tossing 2 innings of shutout ball.
Can't see them until they're like right in front of you. They're like, swip, no.
Oh, oh.
Good flag.
Get up. Come on, boy. Ah. Oh, what a play, baby. As he repossesses a potential hit.
The action would heat up in the top of the third, when Vinny Struffolino led off with a single back up the middle. And then Alex Kelly, who just made it to the field in time for Game 3, made his presence known.
Get out.
The 2-run blast by AK was the first lead of the series for the Savages, but Gannon gathered himself on the mound to collect 3 outs to keep it a 2-run ball game. In the bottom of the third, BK, with help from his defense, wouldn't give Armbarn an inch, as it remained 2-0 going to the last inning.
Fucking kidding me.
In the top of the fourth, Armbarn went back to Jimmy Cole on the mound, but the move wouldn't work, as with 2 outs and a runner on first, BK hit this huge 2-run curler to left to double the Savages' lead to 4. Now with the lead at 4, going to the bottom of the fourth, it was going to be an uphill climb for Armbarn against a pitcher as locked in as BK is. And locked in is right where he stayed.
Well, you're scared. You saw me in front. Nobody gets scared.
BK closes out Game 3 to give the Savages their first win in the last 8 games, as they improve to 7-7. But Armbarn takes the series and improves to 10-4, and are still in the mix for the top overall seed. We take a look at the current standings after all the dust has settled from Slate 6, and we see DX in the pole position for the first time this season. But taking a step back, it looks like it will be a 3-team fight to the death for the top seed. Meanwhile, the Stunners hold firm in 4th, and the real race is for that 5th and final playoff spot between the Savages and Dynasty, who have a huge series together looming in Slate 8. But for now, let's wrap up Slate 6 and look ahead at the full schedule for Slate 7. We start with the underdog Untouchables taking on Smash Bros, with the Smash Bros looking to keep pace for the 1 seed, while the Untouchables will look to pull off one of the biggest upsets in league history. Our next matchup is between the Savages and DX, who played one of the most iconic playoff series last season that saw the Savages blow a 7-run lead to DX in Game 3 in the most epic fashion. And our final matchup of Slate 7 is between Armbarn and Dynasty, and while Dynasty is desperate for any win they can get, they can lean on the fact that they took 2 of 3 from Armbarn in this series last year, and if they could do that again, it might turn the entire playoff race on its head. With 3 slates left in the regular season, we're beginning the home stretch, and we'll be right here to bring you the action the entire way, including next Thursday with some Slate 7 highlights. That's going to do it for now. For everyone here at Electric City Wiffle, I'm Mitch Hipshooter, saying see you next Thursday.
There you go.
There you go, Ben.
Look out, buddy. Come here. Come here, Pete.